If you can't control your emotions, people will control you. And here's the uncomfortable truth most people avoid. What feels safe today is quietly shaping a future you won't recognize. There's a kind of comfort that doesn't relax you, it traps you. It looks harmless, predictable routines, familiar habits, the same choices repeated day after day. But beneath that surface, something subtle is happening. Your ambition starts to shrink. Your tolerance for risk disappears. And without noticing, you begin choosing what's easy over what's necessary. Welcome. If you've ever felt stuck, unmotivated, or strangely disconnected from your own potential, this video is for you. Because the problem isn't always lack of discipline or intelligence. It's something far more deceptive. It's the comfort you've learned to protect. The kind that slowly rewires your behavior, shapes your decisions, and quietly limits how far you're willing to go in life. In the next few minutes, you'll understand why this happens, how it affects your personality, your habits, and even your relationships, and more importantly, how to break out of it before it defines your future. Stay with me because what you're about to realize might change the way you see your own life permanently. Stay with me until the end, because the last piece is where everything finally makes sense. And once it clicks, you'll start seeing your own routine in a completely different way. There's a version of your life that feels calm, predictable, almost comfortable enough to never question. It's the version where nothing is technically wrong. You're not failing. You're not in crisis. You're just there. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Picture a normal day. You wake up, maybe a little tired, but not enough to change anything. You grab your phone, just for a second, and suddenly 20 minutes are gone. You tell yourself it's fine, you needed that. Then the day starts, but not really. You move through it on autopilot. You do what's required, avoid what's uncomfortable, and postpone what actually matters. Not dramatically, just slightly, just enough to keep everything looking under control. And that's the part most people miss. This kind of comfort doesn't hit you all at once. It builds quietly, like background noise you stop noticing. Every small delay, every avoided challenge, every "I'll do it later" becomes a vote for a version of you that chooses easy over necessary. Not because you're lazy, but because your brain is learning a pattern. Stay where it feels safe. Over time, something shifts. Things that used to feel exciting start to feel exhausting. Ideas you once had, the ones that actually mattered, get replaced by distractions that ask nothing from you. And the weirdest part? You don't even feel like you're losing anything. It just feels like you're being realistic, like you're being practical. But there's a hidden trade happening in the background. You're trading growth for comfort, potential for predictability, and the cost isn't immediate, which makes it even harder to detect. It shows up later, when you look back and realize you've been busy, but not moving, active but not progressing, present but not fully alive. And here's where it gets uncomfortable, because if you zoom out for a second, you start to notice that this isn't just about your routine. It's shaping the way you think, the way you react, even the way you see yourself. It's subtle, but it's there. And once it starts affecting how you define who you are, that's when things go deeper than just habits. Now here's where things start to get a little unsettling. Because what began as small choices, harmless, almost invisible, doesn't stay small. It starts to change the way you see yourself. First, it's subtle. You hesitate before doing something new. You overthink sending that message, applying for that opportunity, speaking up in a room, and you tell yourself it's normal. I just need more time. I'm not ready yet. Sounds reasonable, right? But if you pay close attention, there's a pattern hiding underneath that. The more you stay inside what's familiar, the more your brain begins to treat anything unfamiliar like a threat. Not a real physical danger, but something that feels off, uncomfortable, and your mind doesn't like that feeling, so it does what it's designed to do. It protects you by pulling you back. So now, instead of moving toward growth, you start moving away from discomfort. And this is where identity quietly starts forming. You don't wake up one day and decide, I'm someone who avoids challenges. It happens gradually. You skip one difficult situation, then another, and over time, your brain connects the dots and builds a story. This is just who I am. I'm not that confident. I'm not the type to take risks. I'm better staying in my lane. That voice feels personal, feels honest, but it's not the truth. It's a reflection of repeated behavior. There was a study from Stanford showing that people don't just act based on who they are, they become who they repeatedly act like. In other words, your actions aren't just expressing your identity, they're building it in real time. So if your daily pattern is built around avoiding discomfort, your identity will slowly align with that pattern. Not because it's your nature, but because it's your routine. And once that identity settles in, something even more limiting happens. You stop questioning it. You stop asking, is this really me? You stop testing your limits. You stop putting yourself in situations that could prove that story wrong. It becomes automatic. You walk into a room and already decide how you're going to behave. You see an opportunity and already assume it's not for you. You meet someone new and hold back, not because you want to, but because it feels safer that way. And here's the part that hits deeper. The world starts responding to that version of you. People treat you based on what you show. Opportunities pass by based on how you present yourself. And slowly, your external reality starts matching the internal story you didn't even realize you were writing. So now it feels confirmed. See, this is just how things are for me. But what's really happening is something much quieter and much more powerful. You've trained yourself into a version of your life that feels consistent, but isn't necessarily true to your potential. And once that pattern spreads beyond your own decisions, it starts showing up in places most people don't expect, especially in the way you connect with others. And this is where it starts to hit closer than most people expect. Because everything you've been avoiding isn't just affecting your goals, it's shaping how you connect with people. Think about it. When you get used to staying in your comfort zone, you don't just avoid challenges, you start avoiding friction. And real relationships, they're built on friction. Not chaos, not drama, but honesty, tension, moments where things feel a little uncertain. That's where depth comes from. But if your default mode is keep things easy, you begin to filter yourself without even realizing it. You don't say what you actually think. You say what keeps things smooth. You don't express how you really feel. You tone it down so it doesn't get complicated. You don't ask the hard questions. You stick to safe conversations that don't go anywhere. And at first, it works. Everything feels calm. No conflict. No awkwardness. You're easy to be around. People like you. But something's off. Because even though you're surrounded by people, you don't feel fully seen. There's a distance you can't explain. That's the cost. When you avoid discomfort, you also avoid being real. And when you're not fully real, your relationships stay surface level, no matter how long they last. There's actually research from Harvard's long-term study on adult development showing that the quality of your relationships is one of the strongest predictors of life satisfaction. Not how many people you know, but how real those connections are. And real connections require something most people are unconsciously running from: vulnerability. Not the kind that's dramatic or forced, the quiet kind, saying what you actually mean, showing up as you are, even if it risks being misunderstood. Letting someone see parts of you that aren't perfectly polished. But here's the problem. If you've trained yourself to avoid discomfort in your own life, doing that with someone else feels almost impossible. So instead, you stay in patterns. Same type of conversations, same type of people, same emotional distance. And over time, it starts to feel like that's just how relationships are. Like depth is rare, like connection is hard to find. But the truth is, it's not missing, it's being filtered out. Filtered out by the same comfort that's been shaping your decisions this whole time. And once you start seeing that link between the choices you make when no one's watching and the connections you struggle to build when it matters, you realize something that most people overlook for years. The life you're experiencing right now isn't random. It's a reflection of what you've been willing to face and what you've been quietly avoiding. And when that clicks, the question changes. It's no longer, why is my life like this? It becomes, what have I been choosing that led me here? So take a second and really sit with this. If comfort has been guiding your choices, then it's also been shaping your future, quietly, consistently, without asking for permission. Not in one big moment, but in small decisions you barely notice. What you avoid, what you delay, what you choose to ignore. It all adds up. The question isn't whether comfort feels good, it always does. The real question is, what is it costing you over time? Because the life most people say they want, real confidence, meaningful relationships, a sense of direction, doesn't come from staying where everything feels easy. It comes from moments that feel uncertain, a little uncomfortable, sometimes even inconvenient, but necessary. And here's something worth remembering. You don't need a complete life reset. You don't need to become a different person overnight. What actually changes everything is much simpler and much harder. It's choosing just once to not follow the easiest option. To speak when it would be easier to stay quiet. To act when it would be easier to delay. To face something directly instead of walking around it. Because every time you do that, even in small ways, you interrupt the pattern that's been holding you in place. And over time, that changes more than your results. Changes you. So the next time you catch yourself choosing comfort automatically, pause for a moment and ask yourself something most people avoid. Is this helping me build the life I actually want? Or just helping me stay where I am? That single question, asked at the right time, can shift everything. If something here felt a little too accurate, or slightly uncomfortable, don't brush it off. That reaction isn't random. It usually points straight to patterns you've been repeating without noticing. The way you make decisions, what you hold back, the roles you fall into, it all follows a structure. And once you start seeing that structure clearly, your choices begin to shift. Self-awareness isn't just reflection. It's leverage. The clearer you see your own patterns, the less they run your life in the background. So when this video ends, don't just move on. Pause for a moment. Think about what actually stayed with you, not what sounded good, but what felt real. Because when you ignore it, nothing changes. But when you face it, even briefly, you start breaking the cycle. And this is just the beginning. The more you recognize these patterns, the more control you take back, step by step. If this video made you think even a little differently, hit like and subscribe. That's how you tell the algorithm to bring you more content on psychology, human behavior, and self-awareness. Drop a comment below with the number 7 if you stayed until the end. I want to know who's really paying attention. And don't stop here. Click the video on the screen or check the playlist, because the next one goes even deeper into the patterns most people never realize they're stuck in.